Okay, there we go. We fixed it. We fixed it. This is such a good topic. I had exposure yesterday, and I was happy but exhausted when I got home. Yes, we are going to be talking about fatigue today. We are going to be talking about fatigue. I don't know why my mic wasn't working there. Tony, first in chat. What's up, Tony? We got Mint, we got Crystal, we got AP, we got Zoe, we got the Wolf, we got Jay. What is up, guys? What is up? Actually, this time I wasn't muted. It's just my source wasn't working. I don't know, man. It's weird. It's weird. Hey everyone at rock bottom, but I have faith I'll make it through. My rational mind is here, but the subconscious needs to catch up to know the tiger I created is false. Absolutely. Absolutely. We're good now. You guys should be able to hear me now, right? We're good? We're good? What's up, Zoe? How are you doing? Crystal, Mint, how you guys doing? Tony, how you doing? Yeah, I don't know what was going on there. Interesting. Interesting. How is everybody today? Hello. Charles, what's up, dude? What is up? Give me just a second here. Mess with a few things. Okay. I'm feeling kind of discouraged. I know a more positive, accepting, and hopeful mindset would probably help, even if I have chronic fatigue syndrome or any of those things. We're going to talk about fatigue today. We're going to talk about it. Don't you worry. Don't you worry, Minty. It's going to be a good stream for you. Let me see. How you doing today, Wolf? What's up, dude? Welcome. Welcome. My webcam looks a little bit off today too. I don't know. I'll mess with it later. This is good enough, right? This is good enough. Good at work. Hope y'all are doing good. Hope you have a good day at work, Crystal. What's up, Ivan? Don't turn your boat. Sit there and fish. I love it. What's up, Bo? Coming into the stream with great advice, as always. I'm good. Pushed through today. Then I sat here thinking, why do I feel so drained when your live popped up? So this is apparently a topic that a lot of you guys needed to hear. All right. All right. Okay. Hey, we've got some notes written down that I'm going to go over. I've been trying to plan my streams a little bit better, right? Writing down key pointers that I want to go over. So we're going to talk about it. Don't you worry. We're going to talk about it. Let's get this music out of here for starters. There we go. Get that out of here. All right. All right. The learned mindset is so much stronger than my prefrontal cortex. It is. It is. It really, really is. And that's to be expected. That is to be expected. So you're not going to be able to outmuscle it. You're not going to be able to overpower it. You can only try your best to use that accepting inner voice and not fight with the thoughts and feelings and understand why it is so powerful. Right? So you can't really outmuscle it. You can't really outmuscle it. Ivan, what's up, Ivan? All right, guys, let's go ahead and get into this topic. I feel like we got more than enough people here to go ahead and get started. So using acceptance. After using acceptance, I feel fatigued. I feel fatigued after using acceptance. That is the topic of today's stream. Go ahead and toss the stream a like if you think you're going to enjoy it. You can always take it back later if you don't enjoy it. Let's get started, shall we? Is everybody in chat ready? Is everybody in chat ready? All right. Let's see here. Let's get my notes pulled up, man. We're taking notes nowadays. We're leveling up in the world. We're taking notes. All right. We're going to go ahead and get started, guys. Let's get on with the first point that I've got written down here. Feelings of fatigue. Feelings of fatigue often follow acceptance because fight or flight is taxing on your physical body, right? This is because excessive amounts of adrenaline, right, cortisol, and other stress-related chemicals flood your body when you experience the anxiety response. So if you're looking for why you feel so fatigued when you're using acceptance, if you're looking for the physical reason behind that, it is because of the stress hormone, right? It is because of the stress hormone, things like adrenaline and cortisol that flood your body, right, when you experience fight or flight. Now, when you're using acceptance, normally 9 times out of 10, that is going to involve putting yourself My nose is itching. Putting yourself in situations that you normally wouldn't put yourself in, right? Such as exposures, specific exposures. And when you put yourself in these triggering situations that you normally wouldn't face unless you were on board with acceptance and retraining your brain, when you put yourself in these situations, you are going to experience floods, right? That is a part of being triggered. Floods, somebody tell Mint just to refresh, floods of these stress-related chemicals, right? Floods of these stress-related chemicals. So a lot of times what happens is people will say, okay, I'm on board with this acceptance thing. I really want to retrain my brain. I really want to face specific triggers, and I want to put myself out there, which is great because that's the only way that you can overcome specific triggers. However, when you face triggers, you are going to be met with floods of stress hormone and chemicals, right? So the fight or flight response for somebody who is sensitized is normally turned on, right? If you're sensitized, you have tired nerves, fight or flight is more or less there in some way or another. However, when you start to go out of your way, right? When you start to go out of your way to face specific triggers and do exposures, you are going to be putting yourself into what we would call floods of these stress chemicals, right? Of these anxious chemicals. And these chemicals, this fight or flight response is very taxing on the physical body. Does that mean you are in any sort of harm or danger when you put yourself into exposures and experience floods of these chemicals? No, you are not in any sort of specific harm or danger when you put yourself in these situations, right? When you put yourself in these situations where you have to face your triggers, but you are going to experience feelings of fatigue, which is a big thing for a lot of people. Wonder Bro, I've been kicking ass, I've been using acceptance, I've been facing my triggers, but this is all leaving me so worn out. I just feel completely worn out. I don't know where to go from here. Understand that although the feelings of fatigue, if you are an anxious person, you are probably going to want to overthink those and worry about those. They are a very normal part, right, of facing your fight or flight response. They are a very normal part of facing your fight or flight response, especially if you're putting yourself out there with exposures. So, again, the reason behind this is very simple. It is very taxing on your physical body when you face triggers and you face exposures, and that does lead to fatigue. So, let's see. Let's move on to number 2 here. Go ahead and get that pulled up. Is there anything you should do about the fatigue? Now, this is the next question. Is there anything you should do about this fatigue other than resting when you're able? Fatigue is another harmless symptom of the anxiety cycle that should be viewed for what it is and left alone. So, a lot of times when people do start facing specific triggers, and this leads to feelings of fatigue, because again, it's very taxing on the physical body to face triggers and to do exposures, people will get worried about the fatigue itself. It's kind of ironic. People get worried about the fatigue itself. They start coming up with all sorts of crazy ideas. Is there anything you should do about this fatigue other than resting when you're able? No. Not really. Fatigue is another harmless symptom. That's what I've got written down here. Fatigue is another harmless symptom of the anxiety cycle that should be viewed for what it is and left alone. I would say on the topic of fatigue, the one thing you want to make sure you avoid, because this is a huge mistake that a lot of people make, they will start to face their triggers, right? They will start to do exposures, and then they will experience feelings of fatigue, which, as we just covered, is a very normal part of facing your triggers, a very normal part of going through exposures. They will start to experience this fatigue, and then they will start to obsess about the fatigue itself, right? So what happens is you've got someone willing to face their triggers, willing to do exposures, they do the hard work, they begin to feel fatigued, which is very normal because it's taxing on the physical body, and then they will start to obsess and add second fear to the fatigue that they feel, when in reality the fatigue that they feel is actually a good sign. That sounds so weird to hear it put that way. Wonder Bro, what do you mean by that? Again, fatigue is a sign that your physical body is taxed. Anytime you are facing exposures and facing your triggers, you're going to be met with being triggered, which is going to release that fight or flight and all those chemicals that come along with it, and it's going to make you feel very tired. So it's actually a good thing, right? But unfortunately, the route that most people will take, at least at first, is they will do the triggers, they'll do the exposures, they'll begin to feel fatigued, and then they'll become obsessed and start adding second fear to the fatigue itself. So it's like one foot in the door and right back out again, right? And it's very unfortunate, because what you should be doing is you should be resting into your fatigue. You should be resting into your fatigue and celebrating your victories. However, most people are not going to go that route until they are corrected. Most people are going to go the second fear and the obsession route. So they put on, they put on their big boy pants, their big girl pants, and they do the exposures, they do the work, they feel fatigued, they start worrying about the fatigue, and all of their work that they did with the exposures, they're still keeping their nervous system taxed, because now they're worried about the after effects of facing exposures, right? When the after effects of facing exposures should be viewed for what it is, nothing but a harmless symptom, right? Nothing but a harmless symptom of facing your fears, right? Of facing your fears. So it's kind of a catch. It's a bit of a tricky one. How can we expect someone to face their exposures and do the hard work, which then leads to normal feelings of fatigue, because of how taxing fight or flight is on the physical body? How can we expect someone to do that hard work and then turn around and then they're worried about how they feel during the after effects of facing their triggers and their exposures? Gonna be really tricky, right? Gonna be really, really tricky, because then we're kind of gonna go in circles. We're gonna go in circles. That person, until they learn how to face their fatigue without adding second fear and obsession to it, I'm not so sure they should be doing a ton of exposures, because what good is that really going to accomplish? If they are trying to retrain their brain and face their fears, and then they go home and they add a bunch of second fear and obsession and worry, and they're not using that, they're engaging with every thought about the fatigue, then it's really back and forth. It becomes really back and forth at that point. Do you guys see what I'm saying? They did the hard work, they did the exposures, but they come home and now they're worried for hours on end about the after effects that they're feeling, which are completely normal, from doing the hard work. So it's like they do the hard work, their brain learns a little bit, they come home, and then they're right back to stressing their nervous system out about the fatigue. It's just like it never ends. There's always something that somebody is engaging with and fighting with on a mental level, trying to control, which, by the way, you can sit there and try really, really hard until you turn blue in the face, with your mental engaging in every thought and feeling, and you're not going to change anything, right? You're not going to change anything. That's not going to take your fatigue away. The irony is, the more you engage with worrisome thoughts about your fatigue, the more fatigued you're going to feel. You're making it so much worse, and that is the basis of all anxiety, right? Whether we're talking about fatigue or not, the more you sit there and engage and fight with something mentally, the worse you make it, because you're just tiring your nerves out more and more and more and more and more. So just to briefly go over my 2 points again, feelings of fatigue often follow acceptance, because fight or flight is very taxing on your physical body. This is because excessive amounts of adrenaline and cortisol flood your body when you experience the anxiety response. So it's very normal, and it's easily explained why someone using acceptance and facing exposures will feel fatigue. Number 2, is there anything you should do about this fatigue? Other than resting when you're able, fatigue is another harmless symptom of the anxiety cycle that should be viewed for what it is and left alone. And again, the reason number 2 there is so important is because it's going to be a never-ending cycle. It's just going to be back and forth. If you've got someone doing the hard work of acceptance and facing their fears, but then they come home and they obsess about how fatigued they are, then what good was all that work that they did, right? Because they're still going to be taxing their nervous system. It doesn't matter what you're worried about. It doesn't matter what kind of thoughts you're engaging in and fighting with. If you are engaging in and fighting with thoughts of fatigue what-ifs instead of just agreeing with them, you're going to be taxing your nervous system just as badly as you would be taxing your nervous system if you were fighting with a what-if about the future or about the past or anything else. It doesn't matter what the content is up here. Right? So number 2 is very important because, again, Someone's doing the hard work, but they just spend hours obsessing and stressing their nervous system out over the feelings of fatigue, which are normal and they come along with acceptance. Then they're just stressing their nervous system out. It's like one foot in the door, right back out again. All right. So number 2 is very important there. Number 3, on a side note, I got a little side note written here. Do not mistake fatigue for depression. This is a big one. Do not mistake fatigue for depression. When your body and mind are tired, this can lead to feelings of emptiness or depletion that people often mistake as depression, leading to obsession. A lot of obsessions, depression, anxiety, depression, obsession, all right? So do not mistake fatigue for depression. It's very easily, it's very easy for people to make that mistake. Oh, I'm depressed. Well, have you been facing a lot? Have you been facing your triggers? Have you been really rising up to the challenge and not fighting with those thoughts and feelings? Well, then you're probably just fatigued from all the hard work that goes into acceptance, right? I say hard work because it's basically a new habit, but at the end of the day, it's more about what you don't do, right? You're no longer fighting those thoughts and feelings, and you're living your life as normal, which does require facing certain things that normally trigger you. And that's going to lead to very normal fatigue. And if you start to place the label of depression on yourself, well, now you're just going to head straight into obsession. So if you start throwing around that label of depression too quickly, you are going to stumble right into obsession, and we call that obsession about depression, right? So do not be so quick to place the label of depressed on yourself. Understand that fatigue is a normal part of facing and accepting, and it does lead to feelings that kind of mock depression, such as feelings of emptiness or just depletion, emotional exhaustion, right? And that comes from fatigue. That comes from having to face triggers. And when you face triggers, guys, and you put yourself out there and you feel all of the fight or flight symptoms that come with that, right? That's very taxing. That is very taxing on a physical body, right? That is very taxing on a physical body. So let's give an example here. You guys know I love examples, or analogies rather. Let's say we send someone off to start weightlift training, and they start lifting weights, and they start doing all this stuff that comes along with becoming a bodybuilder. And they lift the weights, they do the curls, they do the reps, and they start doing this, and it's the first time they've ever had experience doing this, or maybe it's been a while. When they come home that day from the first day at the gym, even after 2 weeks at the gym, or every day at the gym, when they come home, they are going to be fatigued. They are going to be extremely tired. It is the same concept when you send someone out to do exposures on their mental, because they are dealing with real physical symptoms, fight or flight, that is very taxing, just like a workout would be, just like a real physical workout would be for a bodybuilder. The person using acceptance and facing triggers are going to be just as taxed physically as the person who's hitting the gym again, right? So to be so quick to put the label of depressed on yourself, right? To be so quick to put the label of depressed on yourself because you are feeling the normal feelings of fatigue that everyone deals with when they are facing their triggers and retraining their brain is just not a smart move, right? It's just not a good move. We can easily explain why you feel so emotionally exhausted. We can easily explain why you feel so taxed, why you feel so fatigued, and it's because you just went through several strong waves of the fight or flight mechanism, which happens, which is bound to happen, which is going to happen anytime you put yourself out there and you start doing exposures, right? Now, another little side note, is this something that, are you going to experience fatigue even if you don't use acceptance, Wonder Bro? It's possible, right? Because dealing with anxiety and high levels of anxiety, again, you're dealing with the same fight or flight chemicals, right? But it is possible that you can be experiencing fatigue even if you're not necessarily using acceptance. Of course it's possible. You're sitting there fighting all day long, right? So either way you go, of course you can experience feelings of fatigue, right? Whether you're using acceptance or not. But it seems like a lot of people have this concern after they've been using acceptance, because in their mind they're thinking, well, I've been using acceptance, I should not feel fatigued. And that's just not true. You can feel fatigued even if you're fighting, of course, and you can feel fatigued even if you're using acceptance. And that's why the title of the stream is what it is, because a lot of people have this false belief that since they're using acceptance, they should not be feeling feelings of fatigue. I'm using acceptance, Wonder Bro. That's a healing thing, right? I shouldn't be experiencing feelings of fatigue. No, you will. You will, because you are putting yourself out there. You are facing triggers. You are facing specific planned exposures, and that can be very taxing on the physical body. So you can feel fatigue either way, whether you're fighting or using acceptance. But the reason this stream is addressed as why do I feel fatigue after using acceptance is, again, because there's that big false belief that somehow acceptance right away should bring you instant relief and you should not experience things like fatigue. And that's just not true. Again, fight or flight is very taxing on the body. So when you do exposures, right, you're going to feel the fatigue that comes along with that. So, just to briefly go over my points one last time, guys, feelings of fatigue come from the fight or flight response being very taxing on the physical body. Is there anything you should do about this fatigue other than being able to rest when you can, when you're able? No, there's nothing you can really do or should do about this fatigue other than rest, because it is another harmless symptom of the anxiety cycle that should be viewed for what it is and left alone. Number 3, don't be so quick to slap the label of depressed on yourself. Feelings of fatigue can often lead to feelings that somewhat mimic what some people might call depression, but it's two different worlds, right? And somebody made a good point in chat. Even if it was depression, so what? There has to be a level of acceptance, not fighting with your thoughts and feelings, right? So that was a good point, Gamer, that you mentioned in chat. So I think I want to wrap this up by saying, if you're truly using acceptance, that means you are applying acceptance to every feeling, and that includes the feelings of fatigue. You cannot claim acceptance if you are only willing to apply acceptance to certain feelings, right? You have to be willing to apply acceptance to any feeling, not just the feelings that you are comfortable with applying acceptance to, right? And I feel like that's a big hiccup for a lot of people is I'll apply acceptance to this thought, but not that thought. I won't fight with this thought, but I will fight with that thought. I won't accept this feeling, but I'll accept that feeling, right? All right, guys. With that being said, that is the point of today's stream. I hope you're all doing fantastic. If you enjoyed the point of today's stream, please leave a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. The whole fatigue topic is something that a lot of people get confused on. A lot of people get sort of choked up about. So it's a topic that I definitely wanted to cover as soon as possible. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to go ahead and just go right back into getting our music started, right into post-stream. How's everybody doing, man? If you're still here, let me know. Let's do a quick roll call. Let me know. Let's see what comments we got. All right, let's see here. What's up, Sky? What's up, Raven? There's no doubt that you could make certain dietary changes that might help, right, depending on what your diet is. Certain dietary changes might help to avoid some physical symptoms and mental symptoms of anxiety, but you must understand that dietary changes does not do the trick for like 90% of people, and the reason that is because there's no problems with their diet necessarily. I mean, I eat like shit and I feel fine. So for most people, it's going to be a case of sensitization. However, if there was something physically wrong with you that required dietary changes, that's something you should talk to about your doctor and get your tests done, things like that, and then you can speak to your doctor and see if there's something you need to do with your diet, right, to address these physical issues. However, like I said, for most people, myself included, the fasting, I didn't fast by choice. I just fasted because I was so miserable that I didn't eat. That seemed to not really do much for me. So yeah, dietary changes for some people that have physical issues, talk to your doctor and see what happens, get your test ran, whatever. But for most people, it's going to be a case of sensitization. I've had people with amazing diets who just can't seem to feel any better, and it's because they're still fighting with their thoughts and feelings, right? So I have people that do jogs every morning and drink green smoothies, and they are the poster child for physical health, and they still don't feel any sort of relief, and it's because there's a lot of bad habits right? There's a lot of bad habits. So absolutely, speak to your doctor. Maybe you need to make some changes. Personally, I will never go that route. I like fast food. I like greasy food. I like shitty food. I like to eat bullshit and bull crap. And that's just, I don't think I'll ever change, right? I don't think I'll ever change, man. So it might help some people. It might not help others. If you've still got a lot of bad mental habits going on, those need to be addressed. Those need to really be addressed. But yeah, I mean, you're feel free to do what you want to do as far as diet is concerned. That's totally up to you. And if it helps you, that is amazing. That is great. I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow, and for the first time in a while, my mind is catastrophizing and making me feel on edge. Thoughts leading to you have cancer, which I know is stupid, but just agree with those thoughts. That sounds weird, but just agree with those thoughts. There's no need to fight those thoughts. The more you fight those thoughts, the more empowered they're going to become, right? The more empowered they're going to become. So, with acceptance, you never engage in an argument with your thoughts, right? You accept your thoughts and feelings. Bad mental habits, I totally agree with that. And I totally agree with you. Don't get me wrong. I'm not disagreeing that there's benefits to things like diet changes. There can be, right? There can be. I'm not saying there's not benefits to, whatever lifestyle changes you want to make. Hey, more power to you. I don't disagree with that at all. I'm just saying, if you got bad mental habits going on, we need to get to the root of the problem. So, you can do your diet changes, you can start exercising. All that stuff is like icing on the cake, man. If you want to do that, more power to you. I support you 110%. But we do need to work on the root problem with all these mental habits of fighting all your thoughts and feelings. That's what's really keeping your nervous system just totally stressed, right? Let's see here. So yeah, I don't disagree with you, but also make sure you're working. Make sure if you're going to do a bunch of lifestyle changes, that's great, but make sure you also at the same time are tackling the root problem here, which is the bad mental habits, the fighting with every thought and every feeling, and just really keeping your nervous system taxed, trying to debate and argue with those thoughts. Let's see here. What's up, Peter? I'm way behind on comments. The car needs a lot of work. Hey man, you got like a side hobby now. Go out in the garage and work on the car when you have time. Maybe it'll give you something to do. Let's see. I'm going to keep scrolling up. For me, my main trigger in life is a life event that I can't change. So I'm always facing have no rest heart. And that's the same for everyone. So people sometimes will say I'm a special case because my thought that's bothering me the most right now is real something that I can't figure out. Okay, well, this is going to force you not to figure it out. It's going to force you not to fight with it. But yeah, I see that all the time. Oh, my main trigger right now, my main thought is something that is likely to happen or is happening. And, that's why I keep fighting with it. Well, this is going to kind of, that works that way for everybody. This is going to teach you that your only option is to not fight with it and not engage with it and let those thoughts and feelings burn up. How are you doing today, Crystal? So yeah, sometimes some of those more tricky and sticky themes are actually good for you because they require you to say, hey, I've got no other options but to stop fighting with this thought. And then you start to have a lot of realizations at that point, right? Like, for example, I had many themes that I was stuck on during my journey, and at one point in time, I was really stuck on this whole, I'm going to be homeless one day thing because I'm in this state, and everyone around me is going to die, and blah, 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 and I'm going to have to, and I was really stuck on the future. Now, this is real. This is like something that could happen, right? That is something that could have happened. So I was convinced that because it was something that could happen, I was never going to feel relief from anxiety over it. Right. And so I fought with it every single day. And what happened was when I stopped fighting with it, I stopped engaging with it, even though it was a real possibility. And fast forward, it's funny because present day, most people in my life have died. I turned out just fine. But it's funny because back then I thought unless I can get total reassurance that my future is going to be okay, then this is a real problem and I'm never going to experience relief from this anxiety because of it. What happened when I stopped fighting with it and just, when it would come, I'd just say, okay, whatever, accepting inner voice, don't engage with it, just let that thought be there, let those feelings be there. What happened is, after a while, I actually retrained my brain, and I was able to get to the point where I laughed at those thoughts. And this was soon after, right? And I would get to the point where I would think, I'm going to end up homeless one day, and my family's going to die. Okay. Why did I ever let that freak me out? You see, I didn't... Why is my nose itching so much? Motherfucker. You see, I didn't fix the situation. I didn't reassure myself that, oh, one day that might not happen, and it definitely won't because I fixed it. There was no fixing it. It was always a possibility that these bad things could happen. So I didn't get relief because I fixed it and I fought with it enough. I got relief because I stopped fighting with it. My brain learned that that's not a real tiger in the room with me right now, so it didn't matter. It got to the point where it didn't matter, and I overcame it. Now, that was just one of many triggers I had. God, I had so many triggers. But when I started to treat them all the same, that's when I started to make progress, and I stopped fighting with each and every one of them. So I hope that helps. Paul, what is up, Paul? How you doing, dude? Kristen, what's up? Are you new here? Welcome. So eventually I will get over this, and I can't be stuck in a constant state of anxiety forever. Dude, that was the same fear I had. That was the same exact fear I had. That is the same fear that everybody has. But here's the thing. If you stop fighting with it, it doesn't matter. It'll go away. Holy shit. Paul, are you serious, dude? Am I reading that right? Is that $100 tip from Paul that says, I've been sensitized for 8 years and grew up with an anxious personality. I finally get it, and I have to think, oh no, why did it cut off? I think maybe the word you. Let's read that again. I've been sensitized for 8 years and grew up with an anxious personality. I finally get it, and I have to thank you. Paul, thank you so much, dude. Can we show some love in the chat? Can we drop some purple hearts in the chat for my boy? I always point the wrong way. For my boy, Paul. Thank you so much, Paul, man. I appreciate you, dude. We definitely hit tip goal. We're moving on to a 4-day streak, man. I want to see some love in the chat for Paul. Thank you, dude. Thank you. Hey. Paul, my boy, I appreciate you. Is Paul even in the chat? I didn't see him there. He did sneak into the chat. He said, hey, Wonder Bro, what's up, Paul? Thank you for that, dude. Thank you. Holy shit, that is massive. I appreciate that. Thank you for all the love, man. All the purple hearts for my boy Paul. I appreciate you. MVP for the day, man. Holy shit. Holy shit is all I can really think to say to that. Holy shit. Much love to you, Paul. I always try to do the hand hearts, and they always look crippled. But you know what? That's okay. I'm trying my best with the hand hearts. Thank you again, Paul. I don't want to run it in the ground, but $100 tip is a pretty big deal. So I appreciate you, dude. Thank you so much for that. Much love to you, brother. Wonder Bro, hope you don't get mad. Hey, Ivan, now that I've got you here, dude, I want to let you know. I know I gave you a little bit of a chewing yesterday, right? Because I thought you were on Google again. I want you to know, Ivan, I felt a little bit bad about that afterwards. I'm going to be honest. You know I love you, Ivan. You know I love you, and I just don't want to see you suffer, and I know that you've got a big habit of Mr. Google there. So that's why I gave you a little bit of a chewing yesterday. I did feel a little bit bad about that. But I want to see you heal, man. I want to see you heal. So just know I love you. Once we desensitize, I think the underlying problem remains, and that is we are something sensitive personality and warriors that is driving the engine of this beast. No, you're right. You definitely can have certain personality traits. I call them habits, but a habit can be broken. So even after you desensitize, you should be carrying these skills with you on for the rest of your life, right? To break those habits and continue to build better habits. Does that make sense? So you can definitely desensitize and still be what we'd call a warrior, but hopefully you're working on that. That's why I say the two main keys are good life skills to have and not just good anxiety skills. Does that make sense? So yeah, you can desensitize, but you should also still be working on these new habits, right? You should also still be working on these new habits. Thank you for all the love in the chat for my boy Paul, man. That is huge. $100 tip. Thank you so much, man. My girlfriend left me, guys. I planned out future with her and everything, feeling absolutely crushed. Peter, man, I hate to hear it, dude. You've always been a big supporter here on the channel. I hate to hear that, Peter. That's rough. I'm with the rest of the chat on this one. I don't have a whole lot of advice except, of course, acceptance. Try not to fight with those thoughts and feelings that come, right? It's going to hurt like hell for a little bit. Anxiety hurt like hell for a little bit, right? But you overcame it with acceptance. Apply acceptance to even real life events. Don't fight your thoughts and feelings. Accept it. It will hurt like hell, but eventually you know it'll heal. Just like anxiety did for you, right? just like anxiety did for you. I would say my advice would be to apply the same skills you learned with anxiety to this breakup, right? Because eventually it's going to heal. You're going to start to feel better. It's going to hurt like hell for a little while. That's okay. Allow yourself to hurt like hell. But just know that you are going to heal. It's very difficult dealing with heartbreak, but you get attached, man, right? You get attached. That's the thing about heartbreak. You get attached. You start to form your entire identity, which is not necessarily healthy, but it's what a lot of people do. I'm guilty of that myself. You start to form your entire identity around this other person. You start to base your own happiness around this other person, and you forget that you are the source of your own happiness. You forget that you are your own light in the dark, right? And so when this person just ups and leaves, you start to get really upset. You get really hurt, and it's like your whole identity is gone, right? It's like your whole identity is gone. But you have only forgotten. I'm here to remind you, you have only simply forgotten that you are your own source of happiness and you are your own light. So allow yourself to heal, allow yourself to hurt, and understand that you can be just as happy and just as satisfied by your lonesome. Right? I think you've just forgotten that. So, yeah, it does hurt to lose somebody. You get used to it. You get attached, but just let that hurt happen, and in time, you'll start to feel better, right? It always happens. People don't think they can overcome heartbreak. This is the one that will just do me in. It never happens. Eventually, you always will heal. My girlfriend left me as well in December, Peter. We both will get through this. A lot of heartbreak. That's okay. That's okay. A lot of heartbreak in the chat today, but it happens. It happens. It happens. We're here for you, man. We're here for you. Heartbreak is not easy. It's not easy. We've all been there. I think we've got an ad. Oh, no. No. I didn't catch it in time. That's okay. I'll deal with the 100 copyright strike emails later. It's whatever. But we're all here for you, right? Whether you're dealing with anxiety, whether you're dealing with heartbreak, we are here for you as a family, right? As a community. You can come in, you can chat, I'll help you the best I can. Everybody else in chat will help you the best they can. We are all here for each other. Speaking of which, let me go ahead and grab the link to the Discord, guys. The link to the Discord. If you're going through something, man, you want a support system, we got you. I'm going to drop that link right now. Go ahead and check it out. Thank you for all the likes, guys. Let's see if we can run those likes up, man. We got a lot of people in here. I think we're on 11 likes. Let's see if we can bump that number up just a bit, just a little bit. I would really appreciate it. Also, guys, I'm trying to do daily TikTok now. Daily TikTok. Do you call it TikToks or TikTok? I'm starting to do daily TikTok talks, daily talk ticks. If you want to check me out on TalkTick, you could do so at Vacay Fear. I'm with the cool kids now, and I do TikToks. So check me out. Vacay Fear on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. I'm really trying to grow this community. I'm trying to do regular streams. I'm trying to have a stream schedule. I'm trying to make it to where you guys can see my pretty face. I'm trying to make changes so that we can continue to grow this community. But I can't do it without you, right? I can't do it without you. So leave those likes if you don't mind, right? If you decide that you don't like it, you can just take it back, right? But thank you, guys. My point is, I'm really trying to do my part to grow this community, and thank you guys for doing your part. I really appreciate it. I love you. I don't know what I would do without you. Look at me with my daily talk ticks, right? I make talk ticks. I make TikToks and talk ticks every day, and you should totally go check it out because it's stuff that you can't see here on the channel, and it's totally cool. Thank you, Chris. My man, I always appreciate you in this community. We appreciate you, Peter. I keep seeing it down in the corner, so I'm going to say it again, even though you guys are probably sick of hearing it. Paul, thank you so much for the $100 tip, dude. I can't get over that one. That's a pretty big tip. Thank you, dude. Have you been in the state in which you only have a very negative mindset? Yes, that sounds like sensitization, especially severe sensitization, little DPDR, and a lot of fatigue. My anxiety is just that right now. Yeah, it sounds like severe sensitization. So your nerves are basically on a hair trigger, right? They're very tired. Don't let the word sensitization scare you. It just means you have tired nerves that are easily set off. Right, Daniel? What you need to do to give those nerves a break is to allow them to pop off. So you are allowing the thoughts to pop up, but you're not fighting with them. You're just giving yourself that accepting reminder, hey, there's that thought. I'm not going to fight with that. It is what it is, whatever. And then you go right back to living your life. That is the two keys. To stop fighting with your thoughts, just give yourself accepting reminders, and then go right back to living. So the living is going to help show your brain that the tiger doesn't exist, and not fighting with your thoughts is going to stop yourself from empowering them and telling your brain that they are somehow important or dangerous, right? Is it going to be fun? No. Is it going to be instant relief? No, but it'll get better, right? It'll get better as time goes on. It'll slowly get better. You can have a better day today than you did yesterday. You know, your today can feel better than yesterday if you're using the two keys, right? I'm not saying it's going to take forever. I'm just saying to get to that real concrete healing takes time. But that doesn't mean you can't have a better day today than you did yesterday. You can. You absolutely can. But that's not your job to worry about your thoughts and feelings. Your job is to stop fighting with your thoughts and live your life, right? Let's see. I've missed a lot of comments, dude. I'm sorry if I've missed your comments and you need an answer. Just feel free to write it again. Wonder Bro, how can we increase stress tolerance? Hold on. Hold on. How do I not have a pen? Out of all the shit I've got on my desk, I don't have a pen. I was just going to write on a piece of paper the two main keys because I didn't want to say it because I feel like I say it too often and you guys get sick of hearing it when you ask your questions and I respond with the two keys. So I was going to write it and be a little bit of a smart ass and just show it to the camera. But apparently we don't even have a pen in this house. So the two keys is the answer to how do you develop better stress tolerance. And why is that? Why is it that the two main keys is the answer to better stress tolerance? Well, if you think about what the two main keys are, right? If something stressful happens in your life, like if I go out today and something bad happens to me and something negative, you know, maybe not necessarily bad, but something stressful happens to me, and then I start to get these thoughts about it, and then I fight with the thoughts about it, and I get myself all worked up fighting with the thoughts, and then I get so mad I just quit, and I go and I sit in the corner, and, you know, that's not building stress tolerance. That is fighting with thoughts and feelings, right? But if you're using the two keys, Benjamin, hey, I'll address that in just a second. If you're fighting with the stress that's in your life, if you're fighting with the thoughts about the stressful things that are happening in your life, you're going to make it so much worse, right? So to build good stress tolerance, we don't fight with the thoughts that are created by stressful situations. We allow them, we allow the feelings, and then we take positive action, which is the two main keys. Positive action, live your life and stop fighting with your thoughts and feelings. So I was going to write it and show it to the camera instead of saying it, because I know you guys get so sick of hearing me say it. It's like, damn, Wonder Bro, we ask so many questions and 90% of the time your answer is the two main keys. Can't you give us something different? Well, don't you see, right? The two main keys, man, they're life advice. They're better than just advice for sensitized people. The two main keys really not fighting with your thoughts and feelings. And taking positive action is really just a core belief that you should carry for the rest of your life, and you should apply to every situation that you go through. I can't think of one situation where the two keys is not a good response, right? So I know you guys get sick of hearing me say it because I pretty much say it to like every question I get most of the time, but it's so true. Benjamin with the $20 tip says, I slipped into anxiety due to a panic attack a couple months ago. Your two keys have been extremely eye-opening for me, and I feel like I'm finally making healthy progress in my recovery thanks to you. Thank you very much. Benjamin, thank you so much for coming in here and saying that, dude. Thank you for the tip. Holy shit, what is happening today? We are at 120 on the tip goal. We have absolutely just kicked the tip goal's ass today, guys. Thank you so much. Paul, thank you so much, dude. And Benjamin, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Show them some love in the chat. Can't get over this because I fear being stuck in constant anxiety. That's the root. And at some point, that was my fear too. Oh, I'm going to be stuck like this forever. That's everybody's fear, really, at the end of the day. In one way or another, that is everybody's fear. I want you to understand something. It is up to you what happens from this day forward. Nothing can take that from you. You're not at the mercy of something, gamer. None of you guys are at the mercy of a monster called anxiety. You are at the mercy of yourself, whether or not you choose to fight with your thoughts, or just let them be. Let your feelings be. I know I make it sound easier said than done, but just look at all the positive comments. Just look at all the positive comments we get in chat, right? This works. You're not at the mercy of something. The only thing you're at the mercy of is your own bad habits, but guess what? They're your bad habits, which means you can break them. If you stop fighting with those thoughts and just agree with them, I know it doesn't bring you instant relief, but if you just take my word for it and everybody else's word for it in the chat, right? If you stop fighting with those thoughts and feelings and just live your life, they're going to leave you alone. So you're not at the mercy of some sort of monster that's not leaving you alone. You are at the mercy of your own bad habits, which means if they're your bad habits, you can break them. So this is just a you doing it to you situation. Right? And I think that was a great realization that I made along the way, because it was like I used to view it, when I first started with acceptance, and even before I knew about it, especially before I knew about acceptance, I used to view it as some sort of monster that was attacking me, and I was at the mercy of it. And then once I realized that this is all a result of my own bad habits, I was kind of like, wait a minute, I'm not the mercy of anything. This is up to me. It's up to me. So, and that's where a lot of progress started to be made. Can anyone tell me why my nose is so itchy? It's not even stuffy. I refuse to believe it's allergies, because shouldn't my nose be stuffy if it's allergies? Why is it just straight up itchy? I'm rubbing it raw at this point, and I don't understand what's going on here. I'm dying. I think I'm dying. Look at it. It's red, man. I don't get it. I don't understand. It's not allergies, right? Or else my nose would be really stuffy right now. Isn't that how that works? I'm going to Google itchy nose, and the first result I'll get is like terminal brain cancer or something. I guarantee it. Right, let's see. A condition in which the cavities around the nasal passages become inflamed. Sintinitis. See, I just Google itchy nose, man. Itchy nose. And I'm met with some bullshit term I've never heard before in my life. The inflamed cavities around the nasal passage. You are diagnosed with sintinitis. Kiss my ass. This is why you guys should get off Google. You can heal from anxiety/fear over anything. Yes, 100%. I used to have things that would cripple me and put me in bed just to think about them. And now if those thoughts ever come, which they rarely do, but let's say I'm on something that sparks the topic, like I used to be really afraid of death. Let's say I'm watching something, or something sparks the topic of death. There's no anxiety. I'm just like, interesting. That's cool. And I get curious about it. I used to be crippled over the thought of going crazy, and now I like to watch documentaries on, like in asylums. I enjoy that. I watch documentaries on it. Like, you can overcome any anxiety. Yeah, if you stop fighting with it, you will show your brain that it's not important, and your brain will stop giving you anxiety over it in time. And then you'll realize that you were never really afraid of the thing. You were afraid of the way that thing made you feel. And because you stopped fighting with it, and it no longer makes you feel that way because your brain has learnt, then you realize that the topic really wasn't that scary. It was just you were afraid of the way that it made you feel. Right? Does that make sense? I'm learning, and I've fallen from my feelings and thoughts at times. It's easy to do. It's an easy mistake to make, but you're here on the channel, which means you're going in the right direction now. Congrats. Congratulations. I guess that's how you get stronger. Exactly. You are here. Congrats. Congratulations. Keep it up. Now you have a disease wonder, bro. I know. That's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. I think I have that right now. Yeah, I don't know. The way you pronounce words, I mean, you got to be used to it by now, right? You're not new here. You're not new here. Half of you are not new here. You got to be telling me you're not used to it by now. Sometimes I'll admit I put a little bit of an emphasis on pronouncing things the wrong way because I know it'll get a chuckle. But like 80% of the time, it's real. I just don't know how to pronounce it. So, God, I love this community. It always makes me feel like I'm not alone. Nobody in this chat's alone. What's up, Donkey? We absolutely smashed the tip goal today. We grabbed a fistful of the tip goal's hair and we just threw it around the room and we kicked the living shit out of it today. So, and it's all thanks to Paul and Benjamin. Thank you guys so much. Nobody in this community is alone. Start when we lose trust in ourselves, then fear comes. You start engaging, right? Start fighting. What's up, Maddie? We are live. We're going to try to be live around this time every day. At least you're here for you're here for the end of it. But we're still going to be live for like 10 more minutes, so let's see. Somebody was helping me try to pronounce something. Where'd it go? Sinus, not sitting. Well, from this day forward, everybody will know it as sitinitis. So, from this day forward. Maddie always joins like at some point during the stream and she's like, okay, now restart it. Start from the beginning. Redo the hour. We love you, Maddie. We love you. Who was it yesterday that said when I do the transitions, I should try to make sure my head is in the middle of the triangle? Got it. Let's scroll up a second. Duval, what is up, dude? Do we have another Jags fan in the house? That's awesome. Itchy nose can be a stress symptom. You guys do stress me out, man. Maddie stresses me the hell out, so that's probably why I've got an itchy nose. I'm kidding. Maybe anxiety is why I got something. But what discourages me that even though I know how important it is to reduce that anxiety by cutting the fuel, I have still not found it in me to cut the fuel enough. So it sounds like the normal ups and downs of practice, man. You're going to be... especially when you're dealing, I know with you personally, you have a lot of health anxieties. So whenever you encounter something, that is health related, that's going to be a big trigger for you. So to apply the advice and practice the advice in the face of what's probably your biggest trigger is not always going to be easy. And there's going to be a lot of ups and downs that come along with that. It comes with the territory, right? I say give yourself a little bit of a break and understand that at least you are practicing, because that's all you can really expect of yourself is practice, not perfection. So that is my 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 hot take on that. Thank God for people like yourself, because before I knew what was going on, I felt like I was in a hole and I didn't know how to get out. Well, welcome to the channel. We're happy to have you here. We're happy to have you. Pretty sure your nose is just trying to tell you something in Morse code through itchiness. Maybe. I like that answer. We're going to go with that one. Thanks for letting me know I'm not alone with that feeling, Ivan and Peter. It's been getting a lot better, but I felt it was the most crippling part for me so far. Let me see. I must have missed that. Has anyone experienced depersonalization? Yes, very common. It's usually due to so much obsession. It's like a failsafe for your brain. It's actually a very good thing that it exists, because it's your brain basically saying, hey, you're doing a ton of obsession, and it's really, you know, you're working me to my fullest here, and I need to take a bit of a break. So as you practice these two keys, as you accept the depersonalization, as you do your best to practice not fighting with every thought, which you don't have to be perfect at to make progress. You do not have to be perfect at. But as you practice it, it should start to fade, and it should start to lighten up a bit, right? Let's see. Do that again. I want to see it again. I got you. There you go. Wonder Bro, how old are you? Let's play the guessing game. Let's play the guessing game. How old do you think I am? Chris, was that a smoke break? Maybe. Good. I'm glad I stressed your ass off. He'll be 30 in November. Wrong. Wrong. You actually, I'm not even trolling you, Maddie. You got that wrong. You got that wrong. The Dick Journal failed you, right? Right? And you used a pen, so you can't erase it. Anybody who doesn't know what I'm referring to is going to be like, what is he talking about? What is the Dick Journal? It's a lot more innocent than it sounds, I promise. Let's see. I used to smoke with you. I mean, wait for you to light up. Yeah, dude. I remember you telling me that. We would take our smoke breaks together. I feel like I'm as bad as you once were, Wonder Bro. I don't doubt that, right? I don't doubt it. The triggers may not be the same, but the constant anxiety, not wanting to leave your bed, shaking, nonstop fear is the same. I strive to be you, man. Dude, I'm nothing special, right? I'm nothing special. So, you know, don't strive to be me. Just take my advice, and you'll become the best version of yourself, right? You don't have to be special to accomplish this. You just have to understand how anxiety works, and that's what I'm here for, is to try to help teach you how anxiety works. And then once you got that understanding, right, you can start to apply it for yourself, and you'll become the best version of yourself. It doesn't matter what thoughts are triggering you. They will, at one point, make you laugh. I can tell you that. You don't believe that. You can't see that right now. But as soon as you stop fighting with those thoughts and feelings, and you start practicing living, you're going to be much better off. And one day you will be able to laugh at what once used to put you in a corner, right? So just take it from me and keep practicing. I'm 45 this year in April. Okay, September. Yes, there you go. There you go. 7, 40, 12. Jesus. 20. Maddie said you're 30. Oh my God, are you 27 years old? The only person who has gotten it right so far is Maddie. She got the month wrong, but she got the age right. I will be 30 in September. Look at all this lovely gray we've got going on here. I will be 30 in September. I got you, gamer. I feel you. I feel you. I just didn't want you to think that you had to be anything special in order to recover, because that's just not true. You just got to understand how anxiety works, and then use that knowledge to your advantage. Okay, I'm out of here. Love you all. Hope you all have a wonderful, great, amazing, luscious day. Thank you for being here, Sky. I appreciate you, dude. Thank you for the love and the positivity and the support. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate you, Sky. I appreciate all you beautiful people. I appreciate all of you beautiful people. Because my newer experiences see that and know it's not the way. But you're practicing, right, Mint? You're not going to be perfect, and I say that all the time. Nobody here is going to be perfect, but you're practicing. Practice will pay off. It may not feel like it's paying off while you're doing it, while you're actively doing it, but it will pay off in time. And as long as you're practicing, as long as you're trying, Mint, you're going to make progress, okay? It just might you know, it might feel a little difficult, and that's an understatement. I realize that. Might feel a little bit difficult while you're going through it, but as long as you're practicing, you can't expect perfection out of yourself. Right? You can't expect perfection out of yourself. So you're going through a difficult transition in your life, and that requires you to step up your practice a little bit, and that's okay. Chris, my brother, I tell you, you got to play the new Dead Space. It is amazing. Is that already out? I want to play it. I love the Dead Space games. All right, beautiful people. We are at the 1 hour mark. Thank you so much for watching today's stream. Thank you so much for being here. Huge shout out to my boy Paul and Benjamin. Thank you for absolutely destroying the tip goal. Thank you for all the likes. If you're new here, subscribe, man. We'd love to see you. Thank you for everything, man. Another good stream today. I don't really have much to say besides follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Thank you. And I think that's it. I think that's it. I love you. I love you. Let's all take a moment to watch Maddie freak out in chat for a second, because this happens every time. So just give the stage to Maddie for a second. There she goes. She's already started. We love you, Maddie. We love you. We really do. We love everybody here. Follow me on TalkTick. Yes, follow me on TalkTick at VacateFear. I will see you guys very, very soon. Until next time, as always, stay awesome. One last time, Maddie. One last time. Stop it.